Hello and welcome to Standard Voice Television Global News today, 2nd April 2026, equivalent Islamic calendar 14 Shawwal 1447 after Hijrah. I am Hamida Muhammad Idris. In the headlines, Governor Muftuang braves President Tinubu on just attack that claims over 27 lives. The government declares Friday and Monday public holidays for Easter celebration. Media mogul Ebwedu tags African countries on policy reforms to strengthen digital broadcasting. On the international scene, Army confirms explosions, claims cause of lives at Burundi's ammunition depot. And as part of the Super Eagles still maintains 26th position in FIFA World Ranking. These and more news will be coming to you in the bulletin. Stand by. Plateau State Governor Caleb Muftuang had briefed President Bola Ahmed Tinubu at the State House in Abuja on Sunday's attack that claimed over 27 lives and many others injured. The meeting followed the President's invitation to receive first-hand information on the attack on residents of Anguan Rubuka community in Jos local government area of Plateau State. Muftuang, while speaking with State House correspondent after the meeting, said Tinubu is considering a visit to Jos to personally sympathize with victims of the attack carried out by yet-to-be-identified gunmen. He also added that investigations are ongoing on the possible cause of the attack, noting that the motive of the perpetrators remains unclear. The governor also disclosed that peace is gradually returning to the states following the relaxation of the curfew imposed in the aftermath of the attack. The government has declared Friday, April 3rd and Monday, 6 April 2026 as public holidays to mark this year's Easter celebration. The Minister of Interior, Olubunmi Tunji-Ojo, who announced this in a statement, felicitated with Christians in Nigeria and the diaspora on the occasion. He therefore urged Nigerians to imbibe the virtues of selflessness, forgiveness, forbearance, and love as exemplified by the life and teachings of Jesus Christ. The minister also had on unity among citizens, stressing the importance of peaceful coexistence, where he affirmed federal government's commitment to policies aimed at national development. The First State Command of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps (NSCDC) has announced the deployment of over 365 operatives to ensure a peaceful and heat-free Easter celebration across the state. The state commandant of the agency, Sani Mustafa Ahmed, this morning in a statement issued by the command spokesperson, Umar Muhammad, noting that the deployment covers the pre- and post-Easter period. He also added that the operatives had been positioned to strengthen security at worship centers, safeguard lives and property, and protect critical infrastructure across the 14 local government areas of the state. Mustafa, however, urged officers and men of the court to display professionalism in the discharge of their duties to ensure law and order throughout the festive period. Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) has removed the names of the National Working Committee (NWC) of the African Democratic Congress (ADC) led by David Mark from its official portal in compliance with a Court of Appeal order. The electoral umpire made this in a statement, emphasizing that it will maintain the status quo ante bellum pending the result of a substantive suit before the Federal High Court in Abuja. The decision follows a protracted leadership crisis within the EDC, with rival factions led by Nafiu Balagombe and Mark laying claim to the party's national structure. According to the statement, the appellate court in a verdict delivered on March 12, 2026 ordered all parties to maintain the existing situation before the dispute arose and refrain from actions that could prejudice the outcome of the case. INEC also noted that in line with the court order, the names will now be removed pending the resolution of the matter. An Abuja High Court has withdrawn the bench warrant it earlier granted against the chairman of the People's Democratic Party (PDP), Kabiru Tulaki. The presiding Justice Peter Kikimeke had issued the bench warrant for failing to appear before it in a long charge of providing false information to the Nigeria police. Iraq's principal private secretary Ibrahim Abdullah in his statement explained that the court in its ruling granted the oral application of counsel to the defendants Chris Uche, which was not opposed by the prosecution counsel Usman Rabiu. Justice Kikimeke held that the essence of the bench warrant was to produce the defendants in court. The judge ruled that since the defendant has appeared voluntarily without being arrested and the application not being contested, the bench warrant is hereby rescinded. The case was adjourned to April 2026. Minister of the Federal Capital Territory FCT, Nwesem Wiki, and Governor Bala Muhammad of Bauchi State are at a loggerhead over Governor's imminent defection from People's Democratic Party (PDP) to either the All Progressives Congress (APC) or the African Democratic Congress (ADC, while Muhammad fingered Wiki for the PDP internal crisis and the reason he is leaving the party. The FCT minister scorned the governor over his inability to negotiate his way to the APC, describing his impending defection as a good riddance to bad rubbish. The governor, who met with the ADC and APC leaders in Bauchi, has kept both parties guessing over his next political move. However, Muhammad, after the meeting with ADC leaders, blamed the FCT minister for the PDP crisis, which informed his decision to consider leaving the party. Meanwhile, National Chairman of the APC, Nintawe Yulwalda, accompanied by Governor Abba Yusuf Kabir of Kano State, also met with Bala Muhammad in Bauchi amid reports of his planned defection from the PDP. The news is coming to you on Standard Voice Television. Still to come in the news. Media mogul tax African countries on policy reforms to strengthen digital broadcasting. On the international scene, Army confirms explosions claim scores of lives at Burundi's ammunition depot. On sport updates, Super Eagles still maintains 26th position in FIFA World Ranking. This and more news will be coming to you after the short break. Welcome back from that short break, and now the news continues. African countries have been urged to re-strategize their approach to digital broadcasting as a crucial element of economic approach rather than just a regulatory obligation. The Director General of Nigeria's National Broadcasting Commission (NBC), Charles Ebuebu, met the call at the Leaders Without Borders Development Center Investors Business Roundtable Summit in the United Kingdom. He also stressed that simply having connectivity isn't sufficient for sustainable economic development. He also cited data from the International Telecommunication Union (ITU) showing that only 38% of Africa's population was using the internet in 2024 compared to the global average of 68%. The media mogul also highlighted the vital role of broadcasting at the convergence of media, telecommunications, and advising, saying digital broadcasting goes beyond just transmission towers and migrating from analog to digital. It shapes market dynamics. The government has introduced the Entrepreneurship, Innovation and Business Incubation Certification, a big program making it mandatory for university students to graduate with an additional entrepreneurship certificate alongside their academic degree. The Minister of Education, Tunji Alausa, launched the initiative in Abuja, noting that the program marks a major shift in Nigeria's approach to tertiary education by transitioning students from job seekers to job creators. He hinted that the phased rollout will begin with 14 federal universities and expand to all federal universities by 2027 before covering all the federal tertiary institutions by 2028. Alausa also added that the program addresses the inadequacies of traditional entrepreneurship courses, a response to global shifts in technology, employability, and labor market needs. The pioneer institutions include the University of Lagos and Modupella University, EBU Zaria, University of Jos Bayero, University Kano, University of Benin, University of Port Harcourt, Obafemi Olo University of Ibadan, among others. Operatives of the Department of State Services DSS took former Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-Rufai into custody after proceedings at the Federal High Court in Kaduna. El-Rufai, who is on trial for alleged corruption, had just finished a hearing regarding his bail application filed by the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission (ICPC). The Defense Counsel Oluwole Iyamu confirmed that the court had scheduled April 14th for a ruling on his bail application. He also said the defense team is prepared for a related case scheduled for April 10th at the Federal High Court in Abuja, describing it as a separate matter. The first state chapter of the All Progressives Congress APC has applauded President Bola Ahmed Tinubu over the appointment of Nasiru Ma'azu Bagaria as National Population Commission and MPC Commissioner. Spokesperson of the party, Yusuf Idris Gusau, in a statement congratulated the former speakers of the State House Assembly on his appointment as Federal Commissioner in the National Population Commission (MPC). The statement also noted the appointment did not come by accident but merited by the strong APC chieftain who shaped and stabilized the State House Assembly, especially through robust and impactful laws and prudent oversight by the legislature. Gusau appreciated Governor Dauda Lawal, Minister of State for Defense Bello Matawalle, and Senator Abdulaziz Yari Abubakar for their support and efforts in taking Zamfara to greater heights through prosperous leadership. Moving to the following series of powerful explosions at an ammunition depot in Burundi's largest city, Bujumbura, have claimed 13 lives with dozens others injured. The Burundian army in its latest update said 57 people, including 3 soldiers, were wounded, adding that houses and private vehicles were damaged, while military equipment and facilities were destroyed by the blast. The army spokesperson had earlier stated that the explosions erupted at the facility located in the suburb of Musaga and was caused by an electrical fault. The army has sympathized with the bereaved families and the injured and urged Burundians to be calm and report any unexploded bombs. Meanwhile, President Evariste, in a message on X, expressed his condolences to all Burundians, adding that the authorities are looking in the incident for possible assistance. Finally, to sport on scene. Nigeria Super Eagles still maintain 26th position in the latest FIFA World Ranking following their performances in the March international window. The side led by coach Eric Chelle played 2 friendly matches, winning against Iran and drawing with Jordan. Nigeria defeats Iran 2-1, a result that earned them 5.32 ranking points against a high-ranked opponent, but a 2-2 draw against Jordan, which placed significantly lower, resulted in a deduction of 1.81 points. The FIFA ranking operates on the ELO model, which adjusts 18 points based on match results, the relative strength of opponents, the importance of fixtures, and expected outcomes. With stronger results against high-ranked team yielding greater reward. Despite the mixed results, Nigeria maintained their position on 1,585.09 points, preserving the gains made earlier in the year after their impressive campaign at the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations, where they finished their third to climb 12 places from 28 to 26. Finally, on the news, the top stories again. Governor Muftuang braves President Tinubu on just attack that claims over 27 lives. The government declares Friday and Monday public holidays for Easter celebration. Media mogul Ebredu tasked African countries on policy reforms to strengthen digital broadcasting. On the international scene, army confirms explosions, claims scores of lives at Burundi's ammunition depot. And as part of the Super Eagles still maintains 26th position in FIFA World Ranking. On behalf of the production crew led by Ilya Adam Auta, I am Hamida Muhammad Idris, thanking you for investing your time and staying with the news.